In today's video, I'll be doing an unboxing of two comics that I recently submitted to CGC. That's the Certified Guaranteed Company. They grade comic books, cards, and so forth. And as you can see, they encapsulate them and put a little grade on there. And they recently purchased a company called JSA, who authenticates signatures. So I have two books from my personal collection that I had signed at comic conventions by a couple of artists years ago. I'm now able to submit these books to CGC. They will authenticate the signature and grade the book and put a fancy little label on it. Before that, if you had submitted books to CGC that they did not witness being signed, they would put a green label on it and basically say it's qualified. You might as well have cut a panel out or cut a coupon out or doodled on the cover. As far as they're concerned, they don't know that signature is authentic. So by purchasing this company, they're now able to offer that service. Of course, it costs extra money, but I think it was worth it. I chose two books that I got signed at conventions many years ago from two artists that I really love. And well, an artist and a writer. I'm sorry, I apologize. It's an artist and a writer, but you'll see the books when I unbox them. I know they're authentic because I had them done myself. And I don't know the grades of the books. I don't really care. I just wanted to test out this service and see how it would be. I could absolutely get these back and they could tell me they're not authentic. I could get a green label, which would be silly, but they weren't there when I got them signed, but I know they're authentic. I know there was a story recently of somebody submitting two books by the same artist. One came back qualified at green label and one came back authenticated. It was the same artist, same signature. They signed him at the same time, but the authentication people decided it wasn't authentic. So we're going to find out how my experiment went. They just started this service. I might be one of the first people that has even gotten my books back using this service. So let's get to the books, unbox them. I'll give you a little story behind the books, the artists, the writer, and why I decided to get these signed. So stick around, join me for that, and let's unbox some books. Hello and welcome to Swarm of Comics. I am Randy, your handsome and humble host. And today's video, I will be unboxing two books that I just got back from CGC, the grading company that most people use, and testing out their signature authentication services. I chose two books that I got signed years ago. One of them was at Boston Comic Con when it was still in the basement of a hotel. Could have been 2012, could have been 12 years ago, could have been long, could have been 2010. I don't know. But I got that book signed there, and I got another book signed in 2016. And I know that because the writer that signed it put the date, which I appreciated. And I'm not much of a signature person. I don't really have any other signed books, maybe a couple. And once I found out that CGC was starting the service, I wanted to test it out. Send in these two books, get them preserved, beautiful for displaying, and just see how it goes. Hopefully they have authenticated the grades on them and they get yellow labels. I'll know that as soon as I pull them out, whether they have green or yellow. Let's hope for the yellow. And I'll show you. I'll show you the label and what it talks about, what it shows on there, and I'll give you a little background of each of those. So, yeah, let's test it out and see what we get. Let's open the books up. So I have them over here to my right in the magic little chair that I pulled up next to me, and I'm trying not to look at the grades, so I'm staring at you while I do this. So let's see what we got. Well, that's a good start. Yellow label. That's what we want. Cool. All right. So this is Gru from Sergio Aragonés. He signed it and he drew a little doodle of Gru on there for me. And this is from Dark Horse Comics. Gru has been all over the place over the year. It is a humorous take on Conan the Barbarian. Gru is kind of a numbnuts, not very bright barbarian that always causes trouble everywhere he goes. The little bard sings all the songs about how terrible he is, and his little dog always faithfully follows him around everywhere. So I can't remember what comic company Gru started with. Pacific Comics, maybe. I knew him when he was on Epic Comics, which was a more of an adult imprint from Marvel Comics back in the very early 80s. And he's bounced around a bunch since then. So, yeah, such a beautiful signature. And I met Sergio. I got some great photos of him. And I love that he drew a sketch for me. At the Boston Comic Con, again, let's see what year this was. Oh boy, this is from 2007. I thought it was like 2010 or 12. This is 2007. I've had this book for a long time. And I love it. And I love Gru. For anybody who's not read it, it's just silly and ridiculous. I'm pretty sure it's the same exact plot in every single Gru comic ever since the early 80s. I think it's in pretty good shape. I don't know what it's going to come in as, but I know I say this all the time, but I don't care what the grade is. I didn't get graded for high grade. It's not like I want to do that. But the back cover is cool. I'll show you that once I reveal the grade because he draws all over it. So let's see what we got for a grade. 9.6. Cool. I don't know what made it not a 9.8 because it looks like it's in absolutely mint condition. Maybe a little bit of something right there. Who knows? I don't think it's worth anything either way, but very cool cover. Tons and tons of the characters that have been in Gru over the many, many decades that it's been drawn. So, so as you can see at the top here, hopefully you can see it says CGC JSA authentic autograph. So this is now certified authentic. I don't know why anybody would forge a Sergio Aragonés signature on a book that's probably not worth the cover price, but they authenticated it as real. And it says it right on there. It says the date, Dark Horse Comics, August of 2007. Sergio Aragonés authenticated autograph. Grew at 25 with a wraparound cover. So this is the 25th anniversary of. So beautiful book, authenticated. I'm not unhappy with the 9.6, but I'm going to be honest with you. I can't see a single thing that would make it not a 9.8, but that's why I don't work for CGC. But beautiful book. Love that. Very cool. So our first experiment with authenticating a signature went great. It looks cool. Very cool label up there. All right, so that's our first book. Second book. Sick. Very excited about this one. Yellow label. All right, so this is authenticated as well. You're probably familiar with this one if you're into comic books, but this is G.I. Joe #1. This is Larry Hama signature, 2016. And so I met him at the Granite Con, which is in Manchester, New Hampshire. And I think this obviously back in 2016. And I was actually at the con and Larry Hama was there. And I didn't even know he was going to be there. And I'm not much, again, like I don't typically get signatures and meet artists and things like that. But this is G.I. Joe #1. G.I. Joe was my childhood. Soon as, I was old enough and I was into Star Wars and G.I. Joe started in 82, it was off, baby. First the comic books, then first the toys, then the comic books, then the TV show. My brother and I, we were definitely all in on this. Bronze Age Bill. Shout out to Bronze Age Bill. So I was at the con and Larry Hama was there. And I already had a copy of this at home. But I was at the con. So I went over to a vendor that had books and I bought a G.I. Joe and I brought it over to Larry Hama to get autographed. I don't remember if he charged anything. Maybe he did. It didn't matter to me. So, yep, this says Larry Hama authenticated autograph based on the Hasbro toy line. Authentic autograph. Again, I'm not sure why anybody would. This is like Todd McFarlane, the famous artist, or John Romita, who's passed away, a super famous artist. It's Larry Hama. It's worth something to me. It's important to me. No idea what the grade of the book is going to be. It's kind of beat up. My other one, I think I got graded, came in at a 9.6. This looks like it's not as good of a grade. My guess is it could be a 9.2 or 9.4. This wasn't pressed. We didn't do anything with this. When we submitted it, we just submitted it as is. A press might have helped the grade, but I was definitely worried about if it was going to be a hot signature, a hot press, that it would affect the signature, even a cold press. I didn't want to do it. So let's see what it is. 9.6. Okay. Better than I thought it was going to be. Let's make sure we're in focus here. So I have 296 G.I. Joes, Larry Hama autograph. Larry Hama, the writer on G.I. Joe when it started at issue 1, he carried over to writing the book over the years as it bounced around to other publishing companies. And eventually, I think it came back to Marvel Comics, and he's still writing it. I think it's in the 300s now, issues or something like that. And as far as I understand, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just shooting from the hip here. I think the G.I. Joe comic, this, Larry Hama has written every single issue ever made. I mean, that's unbelievable. I know Todd McFarlane and Eric Larson have written their books, Spawn and Savage Dragon, probably longer than this because there was a big break in between of this. Like, there's been a resurgence in G.I. Joe popularity over the years, but for a while, nobody wanted to touch G.I. Joe with a 10-foot pole. But it's definitely bouncing back. There's some new books out in the Energon universe from, I think, Boom Studios. It could be Skybound. Doesn't matter. You'll find them. Cobra Commander, Duke, and Scarlet book just came out. So this is June of 2024. So if you're watching this in the far future, you might already know about these, or they could be collectible by then. So G.I. Joe's hot again. And yeah, this is super awesome. I love this book. Larry Hama was very nice, very humble. Larry Hama was also an actor. He was in an episode as a one episode of, there's at least one episode of MASH back in the 1970s as one of the characters, I think it was a North Korean soldier or something like that. Am I blurry? What is going on with my camera? I feel like this is a running theme on all my cameras, on all my videos, that it's blurry. So I'm sure that's friggin' annoying, but it's just as annoying to me. So very successful. Our first experiment went well. Larry Hama, Sergio Aragones, awesome looking books. Super happy with these. 9 6s on both of them. That's probably fair. You know, no complaints there. So beautiful. That's fun. I don't really have any other books to submit, so this might be the end of the line for me getting things signature authenticated. But it was a fun little thing to do. I was pretty excited about this today. I was nervous. That they were going to come back green label, but they came back yellow. So very excited. Hope you dig this. Hope if you try out the service, you have just as much success and it goes well for you, but give it a shot. You know, it's expensive. You got to pay for the grading and the authentication. So, you know, it can get pricey. So you better make sure that if you do it, it's books you really want to get done, or really worth, if you want to sell them, it's really worth doing. I can't imagine either of these are going to be high value flipping books. But if it was a Todd McFarlane signature or Stan Lee signature that you got years ago and you want to get that authenticated, that's probably worth it financially for you to do. I can't imagine these are worth more than what I just paid for them, but doesn't matter to me. These are just great. It's a big nostalgia kick. You get to a certain age, maybe any age runs through it, but this is certainly big nostalgia. You know, I've been reading G.I. Joe since I was, middle school, and playing with G.I. Joe since they came out in 1982. And I've been reading Guru since it came out in Epic, probably. I don't know. I probably started reading it in like 1984 or something like that, or 85. So fun books. Hope you enjoy these. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you have gotten this done, like, subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you comment. That helps me get more viewers and get more exposure out there, and more people can enjoy my amazing, fantastic comments and content, whatever it was. All right, cool. Thanks for joining me here at Swarm of Comics. I'm Randy. Have fun with your books.